Hi guys, we'll start in a few moments. Hi guys, kamusta? Welcome back sa another live stream for Pinoy Mentors. Ako po si Gerard, ang iyong digital guro. At para sa broadcast na ito, aalamin natin kung paano mag-concept design gamit ang Zbrush with Mr. James Manlangit. So para nga sa broadcast na ito, in-invite ko si Mr. James Manlangit. Si James po ay isang Pinoy CG artist working for WETA Digital. Ito ang same studio na gumagawa ng mga Lord of the Rings, KingKong at Godzilla. Based to sa New Zealand. Heto ang ilang samples ng work ni James. Ayan, napaka-exciting ng episode na ito. We're currently live on Facebook and YouTube. So, kung ready na kayo, tara, magsimula na tayo. Wait. Parang wala yung intro. Hi guys.
Hello.
Hi James, we're live. Hi. Welcome
Hey
to
guys.
the show. So this is James, my former student and colleague now. He's working for WETA Digital. So, James, batiin mo yung mga viewers natin, and then ang first tanong ko sa iyo is how is it working with WETA Digital right now?
Hi guys. So first off, well, baguhan pa lang naman ako sa I got in with the company nung November 2019. And so far it's been amazing. Medyo
sure.
nagkaroon ako ng sa umpisa, nagkaroon ako ng ano ba yun? Imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome? Bakit naman?
Kasi just being around all of these people na yung alam mong sobrang lupit. Just seeing how they work, kung paano yung mga pinagagawa nila, kung ano yung level ng artistic skills nila and technical skills. I was like, am I even worth it being here sa company?
Bakit naman?
So, parang na-intimidate lang ako ng konti sa umpisa.
Oh.
Pero at the same time, I was really excited about it kasi syempre, it was like my goal when I flew here na makapasok nga sa WETA. Like I didn't think of any other companies except ito lang talaga. So yeah, it was a mix of being really happy and being really happy and being really nervous about it.
Mm. How
When
were
I
uh,
ano
how were the office mates naman when first day mo, etc. Describe mo yung feeling
hmm,
and maybe the
um
pressure as well.
info overload, yun ang masasabi
Info
ko.
overload? Okay.
Like
How come? How
learn
come?
like learning yung mga workflow nila, what they do, pipeline, yung mga ganito.
Mm-hmm.
Medyo info overload siya sa umpisa.
Info
So
overload.
you have to know na may mga certain procedures kung gagawin, mga ganito ganun.
Ah,
So umpisa lang naman yun. Pero like nowadays, I get the hang of it. Like parang ano lang siya. It's just natural for me to do things. Tapos, with office mates, they were really, really very patient and very kind.
that's
That's what I loved about the atmosphere. Sobrang teamwork talaga yung
walang
mindset na mata.
walang
And
hazing
what
or something.
Wala naman so far sa pagkakalam ko.
Oh, kasi mga New Zealanders, so isa sa I think mas mabait pa sila sa Canadians when I visited there.
Yeah, that's one thing I have to say about yung mga Kiwis. Sobrang kind nila and sobrang patient. And that's what I really loved about it. Kasi yun nga,
Mm,
there's walang kumbaga, everyone puts aside their pride, tapos everyone just helps each other.
mhm,
You can just basically walk around the room, tapos just approach someone, and if they're not that busy, kahit busy sila
mm.
just ask them a question, tapos they would give their time for you. Save lang nila yung file nila, tapos they'll go to your computer, tapos help you out with, your questions.
Oh,
So,
talaga? Ay,
I've
wow.
been really learning a lot from them.
Ooh.
Like, I mean, that's one of the reasons rin why I wanted to get in WETA kasi I wanted to learn more, kumbaga. Yeah, ayun. A fun experience. Minsan medyo daunting pero most of the time really fun. From time to time di pa rin mga paniwala na I got in.
Talaga?
Dream come true So
Ca-
parang nasa fantasy land pa rin ako from time to time
Can you tell us the story of paano ba ikaw nakapasok dyan?
Um, hmm. I guess I was just lucky enough to find a position that suited me really well. Kasi to be honest, when I got here, I thought like everything would be smooth, diba?
Mm-mm.
Like I just apply, tapos they'd get me. Kasi I know like they hire a lot of people kasi yun nga, projects keep going in.
Mm-hmm.
So akala ko it would be as simple as that, pero no. It took me around 1.5 months before I got in sa
Mm-hmm.
company mismo. Um, Nga ba yun? Most of the time, all I kept getting was decline emails whenever I tried applying sa kanila.
Oh, wow.
And then,
How
and then,
how many years were you applying sa kanila?
um, well, to be fair, kasi nung first year ko dito sa New Zealand, I was studying. Kasi I did the approach of studying first and then finding work here.
Ah, okay,
So,
okay. Yun
but
yung
after I studied dito, ayun, kasi I studied in Auckland, I directly flew to Wellington, tapos I applied sa WETA. Like, I didn't think of any other company. So, sinabi ko lang talaga sa sarili ko, WETA lang yung gusto ko pasukan.
naks naman.
Ayan. um, Little did I know that it would take around 6 to 7 months before I
Ah,
got in sa company.
talaga?
Ayun.
Okay,
Yeah. All I was decline emails from time to time. Medyo nakaka-frustrate pero alam mo na kasi like I just kept telling myself na kaya nga ako pumunta dito for this so go lang.
I'm sure, bro,
Ayun.
you deserve it. Lahat ng hard work mo, you deserve it. Si James po is actually, I feel like I'm old. One of my former students, and then what I remember him from is sabi ko sa kanya, try out doing the Nomon workshop in LA. Kasi I was also saving up for it, kaso sabi ko, it's too expensive. Pero he did it, yung buong program, with Alex Alvarez. For those sa mga luma, before YouTube, there was Alex Alvarez. Basta alam niyo na yan, mga 3D artist.
Ayan.
And then,
Si Kramer lang.
uh, and ang sa akin, ang kinakaingitan ko kay James is nasa contacts niya sa phone si Alex Alvarez. So he could actually just message Alex Alvarez from his Facebook Messenger or his phone and actually ask a question. It's like having a contact forever. For me, I'm After Effects, Andrew Kramer. So parang, Andrew, paano ba to? Parang ganun lang. So that's incredible, bro. As in, that's so incredible to have that access. And I'm sure you deserve all of the opportunities right now because of all of your hard work. As you can see naman, guys, sa demo reel ni James. Okay.
Salamat.
Okay, so, sige, para din makita ng mga tao on how you do concept design sa Zbrush, can you take us through to one of your works? So,
Yeah, sure.
sige.
So, one
Set
of
up.
my favorite works,
Ay, wait.
kaya,
Ano
yeah,
muna
sure.
yung screen share? Yan, tapos para ma-set up
nga
ka sa
pala.
kabila.
Hold on. Isang monitor lang yung nasi-share, no?
Isa lang eh.
Uh,
So, dadalhin mo siya sa isang monitor.
yeah, no worries.
It's okay, it's okay.
Yeah, so I'll share. Ito, nakita niyo na ba?
Eto, wait lang. We'll move to another scene, guys. So, I'll just rearrange this. This is, oops. Ayaw ah. Teka, let's create a new one. Technical difficulties, ayan. Ayaw makita.
Sige lang.
Ayaw makita ng ano mo. Wait lang.
Yeah, sure. If you want, I can try sharing a different screen. That might work.
Try mo nga. Parang hindi ka makuha.
Yeah.
That's your screen over there. There! Okay. Now picture
Nakita
in
niyo na ba?
picture. Yeah, nakikita na namin. And then picture in picture tayo. Ayan.
Is it Zbrush that you can see?
Yes, Zbrush. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I'll place us here sa taas. Okay. We're good to go, bro. So, what are we looking at right now?
Okay. So, this is one of my favorite Pokemon, actually. Super fan ako ng Pokemon.
Okay.
So, initially, matagal ko nang plan to gawin dati pa since college, pero I felt like I lacked the technical skills for it, kaya I didn't bother trying to make it during that time. Pero I felt na when I was studying here, maybe I can try, pulling it off. So, ayun. First Pokemon that came into mind was this Pokemon named Beedrill, kasi favorite ko siya growing up. And I wanted to make him look realistic. So, for this, I used around siguro mga 70-80% Zbrush to do this.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the rest, I just used Maya and V-Ray basically for doing some final model tweaks, and for rendering, and also for texturing.
For those beginners na artist, what is Zbrush, bro? And ano yung use niya sa production in filmmaking or movies or Hollywood? So, para lang, short introduction lang.
So, Zbrush is a sculpting tool made by Pixelogic. And basically, you can start doing your model here from scratch up to the final look ng model mo. Lately, I know that you can also, there's a term called retopologize. Yeah, I'll not go deep into it kasi yun nga, we're basically talking about Zbrush. Pero the beauty about Zbrush is that you can go in talaga into the model, like say all the way here. I'll pick yung face niya, and then just detail it as much as you can.
Okay. So, di ka na nagpo-pull ng vertices. You're just painting it and sculpting it na.
Yeah, instead of pulling and pushing vertices, basically, it's like clay. You're sculpting digitally in the computer.
Pero no more problems in UV, and etc.
When it comes to that, Zbrush naman has a UV editor. Like, you can do your UVs also natively in Zbrush. You can retopologize in Zbrush as well. Mga ganun.
Wow.
But I prefer doing my UVs sa Maya mismo.
Ah,
What I love about ZBrush is that it's like you're sculpting in clay.
mhm.
So that's one thing that I really loved nung nakapag-aral ako sa Nomon kasi I got to learn how to sculpt in clay, which was really helpful in developing my eye for blocking out silhouettes, looking at certain details, yung mga ganun.
Sabi pala
Kasi
ni Jem Gonzaga, Nox daw, Nox.
ka-classic.
Tsaka
Ka-batchmate
si
ko na.
Layla, hey James, you're famous now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
she's my classmate dati when I was studying in
Uh,
Auckland.
nice.
Hey Layla.
And Carla Jean Romeo Piga. Labi daw, James.
Office mate ko dati from Post Manila.
And hi, Clifford Desus. Thanks for watching. Okay, so let's move on, bro. Ano
Yeah.
lang, highlight tayo sa mga ano natin, viewers.
Yeah. Hello.
Okay, so,
So,
oh,
mm-mm.
next, sige, sige. How did you build this? How did you start? Is ZBrush hard din?
Basically, when I did this, well, basically, yung maganda nga sa ZBrush, like I was saying, is that you can do everything here, kind of like sculpting with clay. So the first thing that I thought of was blocking things out, and I actually have some photos here na ginawa ko dati, kind of like the making.
Oh, wow.
So
Oh, wow.
usually what I do is I gather descriptions of a certain character. Like this character, I knew that he was aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Kaya for things like this, I wanted yung itsura niya to be more angled. Tapos no straight lines as much as possible. Like ito, medyo mali yan. I wanted everything to be more inclined para it would look like he was speedy, he was aggressive, and all that.
Okay.
Another thing is I always gather a lot of reference pictures. So if I move to my next photo here, yeah.
Anong
So
app yun? Ang galing, anong app yan?
there's this program called Pure Ref.
Pure Ref? Spell
Yeah,
mga? P-U-R?
Pureref.
Pure Ref. Oh, what does it do,
Yeah.
bro?
It's an endless canvas. I can actually show you yung reference ko. So I
Mhm.
started with just this, itsura ni
Okay.
Beedrill, tapos it grew all the way to this.
Whoa! Parang Inception.
It's an infinite canvas. It's really helpful if you have, especially if you have two monitors, because you can put one just in the other, and then you're sculpting on your other frame.
Parang
But
collage
it,
siya. Ang galing.
yeah, and you can resize them. You can directly kasi dati what I used to do is I save pictures from Google. Nowadays I just grab them and then just paste them over to PureRef.
So yeah. Kasi usually what I do, copy mo siya and then paste it in Photoshop for references.
Hmm.
Tapos
Yeah.
patong-patong mo na lang. Pero syempre, mako-close mo siya, hindi mo masasave. Oh no.
Yeah. And dito, you can also add your notes, like say whatever you want here, kung ano
Oh,
yung
okay.
reference mo, mga ganun. So, it's a really helpful tool and it's free. You can donate to them if you want. Kaya,
Cool.
ayun.
Okay.
It's been really helpful for me. It also works if you're just working with one screen kasi you can just put it aside and then there's this option. Nakalimutan ko na yung shortcut kasi sinet ko na siya by default, but you can put it always on top. So
Okay.
even while I'm working, like if say yun
Nakikita
nga,
mo siya. Oo.
like if I just have one monitor, I can just have it here at the side.
Mm.
You can also do that in ZBrush if you want, like import your references, but you can only put so much as compared to dito. So I really love this tool.
Cool, cool.
So after I got yung I'll just show you the pictures. After I got yung blackout, yeah, ayan. So I was looking at yung silhouette niya, ng creature, seeing if I liked it and if it was getting the look that I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And I spent a lot of time in ZBrush just pushing and pulling yung mesh ko.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that's really useful here in ZBrush, which I'll show you guys mamaya, is this tool called Dynamesh.
Dynamesh.
Kasi right now, if you look at this, everything is completely retopologized, diba?
Mm-hmm.
And if I add like certain details, you will lose yung mga details mo. Or like you can only pull so much and then your mesh will break.
Parang nagiging pixelized siya, no?
Yeah, so when you put it on Dynamesh mode, basically it's parang nagiging totoong clay na talaga mismo yung mesh mo, which is really fun to play
Ah,
with.
pero hindi siya mabigat in the computer? Like, hindi siya naglalag or something?
Naglalag siya when it comes to a certain point. Pero I think naman if you have the appropriate RAM and the appropriate CPU, kasi ZBrush is very memory intensive.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so you can only get to a certain limit. Like, if I put this in full res, like right now I have 185 million polys on this.
Whoa!
It would probably lag. Kaya
Oh
before
my
we
God.
streamed, I toned down everything muna.
Shit.
Ayun,
Hindi.
yeah. So, when I get the block out, yung ginagawa ko usually dito is, kasi the thing is, like I've noticed this, I mean, I think it's a very beginner mistake, is that we all get lost in the detail. Kumbaga,
Okay.
the term. Like, immediately, mag-high res yung mga tao, tapos they'll start putting in yung mga, ano nila, yung mga juicy details.
Oo.
But then throughout the long run, I learned that, you have to do everything step by step muna. Like, yun nga, block out, silhouette, and all that. So, once I start getting that look nung silhouette na I want, I immediately start detailing it out. Like if you can see here, nagbo-block out na ako nung take all secondary forms, and then medyo naglalagay na rin ako ng mga tertiary just to know how this part looks like.
Mhm.
Tapos ayan, detailing it further. I do them per parts. I tend not to work on just one area specifically. Sometimes I will spend like, let's say, 1 hour dito sa head, and then I'll move on dito sa back naman, and then move on dito sa body. The reason why I do that is so that I can get an overall picture of how something looks like.
Okay.
Kasi alam mo yun minsan, like, di ba minsan nagdo-drawing tayo, tapos, let's say, na-fascinate tayo, let's say, sa face ng character mo.
Mm.
Tapos, at the end, nagra-rush ka na dun sa kamay, so ang pangit. So, to avoid that, and also it was a tip for me when I was learning sculpting, you move from one part of the body to another, just so that you always have an overall picture or grasp of what you're doing.
Mm.
So, yeah, you can see na I'm starting to add more details dito sa likod niya, and more dots. And yeah, ayan. I tend to change yung materials nung ginagamit ko, like the color. I do that depending on what I want to see. So for something like this, I wanted it to be more reflective, just to see how the reflection looks like, kung ano yung breakup ng reflection, eventually when I render it out.
Nice.
So, ayan. And then coloring. So again, I always have my handy-dandy reference sa side ko. I
Mhm.
always look at references. And then I check na paano yung pattern ng ordinary wasp, how does it look like, ano yung colors, what kind of colors I can mix. Interestingly, I found out may mga albino wasp pala, which kind of look really cool. I
Mhm.
don't know if I have it here, pero ayun. Naging main reference ko dito for the coloring was basically this, and for the details on the body.
Oo nga na. Nice.
Yeah. And then I did my own creative way of just making my own patterns. Kasi what I noticed from Wasp is that sobrang solid ng mga patterns nila. Like really blocked out black. Ayan. I didn't want that. I wanted to have thinner lines just to
Okay.
get the whole yun nga, aggressive look to it.
Hmm.
So ayan. I started painting it out. Mostly I use ZBrush. I use ZBrush 80-90% of the time when I'm
Mhm.
texturing. And I usually texture sa ZBrush just the basic colors, just
Mhm.
enough to get some breakage.
Pero yung
For
reflection, paano yung reflection? Innate siya sa ano? Material niya?
ito, yeah, there's a material here in ZBrush I can show you. It's one of my favorite materials. It's called toy plastic material.
Okay.
It makes everything really reflective.
Hmm. Cool.
So one thing with ZBrush, the beauty of this is that you can edit it dito sa preferences, and then just go edit, enable customize, and then you can just drag everything around. So,
Oh, wow.
dami mong makikitang mga people that they share their UI, and they have their own custom colors, yung mga own custom shortcuts. Ako, I just prefer having the default shortcuts Kasi ang dami kong programs ginagamit, nalilito na ako sa shortcuts minsan. So I'm just, and pag alam mo yun, pag lumipat ka ng ibang company or like you work on a different workstation, set up mo na yung mga shortcuts mo. So parang ako, I'm just going to put it at default. So
Okay,
ganun.
okay.
Um, One really
Galing.
cool material na I like, basically I only use basic material. It's a native material dito sa Zbrush. Tong RS Wet Clay and RS Oil Red, um, basically you can download them. It's a very old material na. And it's still available for ZBrush. Pero most of the time I use basic material when I'm when I'm sculpting. The reason why I use basic material is because you can see the reflections properly. And so it helps me when I'm sculpting just to see yung breakage ng character ko. So if I disable the lights, this is how it would look like. And
Mm.
so yan, most of the time when I'm doing my details na I zoom in a lot
Uy,
and
grabe yung
then
detail
just rotate around, see how the reflection is looking. Just get a rough idea kasi at least I know when I'm gonna render it na in V-Ray, most likely magiging ganyan yung itsura ng breakage ng reflections. I know parang sobra-sobra na yung pag-detail ko dito kasi parang makita ba talaga yun sa renders mo? um, One of the reasons why I do this is
Yung pala
because
maliit lang yung render, ganyan lang siya.
or super zoomed out. Pero I learned this from my lead slash mentor sa Post Manila, si shout out kay David Del Rosario. I learned this from him na it's those small details that make something look really realistic.
Mm.
That makes something more believable and something that you can pull off.
Mhm.
Kasi usually, 'di ba? In the end, what we will see is the overall picture, 'di ba?
Mm.
Like those details get lost. Pero they help, especially like when you're rendering,
Mhm.
when you're doing like a lot of mask. Like let's say, if I put dirt dito, makita ng mga tao na may breakage ng mga dirt dito sa areas na to. So, like holes like these would probably be darker or mas dustier siya, mga ganun.
Mm.
Eh, that's the reason why I detail as much as possible zoomed in. Kahit overall magiging ganito lang yung render ko. Kasi it helps sell in the end.
Mhm.
You'll notice that rin with, pretty sure you'll see like interviews ng mga ibang artists, especially those working at different companies like WETA, ILM, and all that. Um, you would probably see how insane they detail something. Like I remember yung sa Amazing Spider-Man,
Mhm.
um, it was Sony who made it, yung si Rhino.
Oh,
They
wow.
had how many they had how many millions of polys dun sa mechanical robot na yun, nung kay Rhino. And then makita mo lang siya sa clip, makita mo lang siya sa movie
Ang
for
bilis lang.
like 30-20 seconds lang, diba? Pero it looks believable eh. It looks believable because yun nga, they detailed it so much na, alam mo yun, you don't see anything unnatural with it.
Ah, good point,
So
good
as
point.
so as to like compared to if I just detailed, let's say ito lang, and I didn't put yung mga dots dito or I didn't bother doing that,
Mhm.
something would feel off. That's what kind of gives you yung uncanny valley, as they call it, uncanny valley feeling.
Mhm.
Na it looks realistic pero parang there's something missing with it. Ayun. So it's
Okay.
usually those all subtle details that helps. Um, Ayun. For most of the time, what I like to do is, so these are my favorite tools: Move tool, Claybuildup, and Damn Standard. The reason for this is kasi during my modeling phase, during my blockout phase, is I like to move things around.
Uy,
Get
galing.
yung, yeah, yan. So, during this time, ito yung maganda sa bagong ZBrush, actually. Like, they have this small thing here na black and white lang.
Okay.
So, you can see your silhouette kaagad.
Ah, cool. Oo nga, no?
Back then, whenever I was working in ZBrush, what I did was, let me just turn these guys off, and just to get an overall better picture. What I did dati is I would change my background color to white. Oops, hold on. Yan. And then I would change yung color ng character ko to black. and nakita ko na yung silhouette niya. So I would push and pull certain areas. Wala akong pakialam sa details. So all I want is to get the silhouette that's needed. Ayan. And then I go back, see, ang pangit tignan, pero yun nga, kasi I'm just blocking it out there. Nowadays, dito sa bagong Zbrush, they have this really cool and small nifty bar na nakita mo yung silhouette mo.
Cool.
So, ayun. If you want, I can show you like another character that I'm working on. In progress pa siya.
Sige,
So,
quick
give
break
more
lang
of
habang
an
ina-open mo. Pa-shoutout daw, sabi ni Den Guit. Papa Gems daw.
Yeah, so this is another character. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Pokemon. This is another
Hindi
Pokemon that
obvious
I'm
bro, hindi
working.
obvious.
So, initially, this is how I started with it. So, ito yung initial look niya. And I played around lang. I played around lang with the silhouette. So, I was looking at this black and white dito. Tapos I was just pulling and pushing yung mesh.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this is a perfect example for me to show yung Dynamesh tool. So the great thing about Dynamesh is, like, let's say I use this snake hook tool. It's one of my favorites if gumagawa ako ng mga daliri or ng mga tendrils. So all you have to do is pick a certain spot and then boom, you have this. So nakita mo, di ba, sirang-sira na yung mesh. If I'm on Dynamesh mode, all I have to do is hold control and then drag left click. Then it tries to clean it up as much as possible. And then gagawin ko lang dyan is I use my inflate tool. Yan, inflate a little, sira pa rin siya. Control drag na naman, and then smooth it out. Wow. And then so it's like you're actually working with clay talaga. That's what I love about this tool. So it's really helpful. And then if I'm making some kind of fantasy creature, I can see yung silhouette ko dito. So I can say na, I think that's looking good or whatever, mga ganun. So I always double check that. So yeah, this Pokemon started just like this. Okay. And then I had several iterations because I wasn't satisfied with the look. Because this is how he looks like. And okay. The moment I saw this Pokemon, naisip ko sa kanya, Rhinoceros and Cassowary. So I was trying to mix both of these animals, like trying to get the best of both worlds from them, and seeing where I can mix them. So nagustuhan ko dito sa Cassowary was he had this bird had this huge hammerhead kind of looking thing to it. Tapos nagustuhan ko sa Rhino was the plated look sa skin niya, which was kind of exact dito sa look ng Pokemon. So, ayun. So, I always gather real-life references as much as possible. So, I also look at dinosaur bones kasi yun yung close sa kanila. I look at other creatures rin for inspiration. And then, over here at the side are just like potential looks. Kaya this is what I love rin about PureRef. You can just drag them anywhere sa canvas mo. Yun. These are my rendering references. So when I look at a certain concept art or when I think of a concept, naisip ko na yung end product niya kaagad. So alam ko ganito dapat yung itsura niya, yung breakage ng texture ng skin. And it kind of looks like this as well. Refractive. So iniisip ko na lahat yan in advance. And also, from time to time, I look at rin mga references from other artists. It's also great to look at yung mga other artists' work just to see ano yung interpretation nila with certain things. Especially, dinosaurs. Wala naman tayong idea with how they really look like. So, I love looking at artistic interpretations of them from time to time.
Really?
Yeah. So, I wasn't satisfied with this silhouette. It wasn't getting...
satisfied.
It wasn't getting the vibe that I wanted, the look that I wanted. So, I had other modifications to it. So, ito yung umpisa niya. And then I changed the armor to this. So, I was referencing itong armored lizard for the look. So, at first, natutuwa ako dito. And yeah, the beauty of Dynamesh na naman, I can just go in here and, just detail this all out. Just a note, using Dynamesh is really helpful for your primary and secondary forms. Pero once you get to the tertiary forms, like yung mga pores mo and all those, nitbit um, details,
Mm-hmm.
hindi siya magandang gamitin
Mm-hmm.
kasi you're gonna lose resolution. Like if you see here at this side, nakita mo na nagpipixelate na siya.
Oo.
And no matter how high I bring that, it's always gonna pixelate. May limit lang yung Dynamesh.
Ah, okay.
So once you get the workflow is once you get the primary and secondary forms that you want, you retopologize it either with Maya or natively in Zbrush. Sometimes I do a mix of both. I retopologize in Zbrush tapos I just fix it up in Maya. Kasi medyo maganda na yung retopology tool ng Zbrush kahit papaano. And ayan, I detailed this out, I checked it, parang ako it still didn't feel right for me. So I had this iteration here. Change ko naman yung horn niya dito. Basically, I was looking at this reference ng Cassowary. I really loved yung look nito. And ayan, I basically sculpted it in, see how it would work. I was kind of satisfied with it, pero alam mo yun, yung di pa rin. So I had several iterations. Ayan, I tried flattening the head. I tried making it more spiky. And then tried elongating his face. Up until I reached to this point na medyo mas naging satisfied ako.
Ay, nice. Maganda nga yan.
Ayan. And then I was starting to get yung feel ng rhinoceros skin over here, this area. So I was referencing this. Ayan.
Ay,
So I just had
wow.
this, and then I was just sculpting it in. So with ZBrush, medyo daunting siya sa umpisa. You'll see pagbukas mo dito, you're like, ano to? Ba't ang daming tools?
Actually, well, oh, bro.
Pero
Parang, oh
all
my
you'll
God.
ever need,
How
all
long will I learn this?
ano lang, to be honest, all you'll really ever need, like majority of the time, is the move tool. Yan ang number one. I sorted out my brushes according to how often I use them. So
Okay.
number one ko is the move tool kasi I like to push and pull yung yung mesh ko. So I move this, I move this. Tapos pag happy na ako dyan, that's when I use this clay buildup tool. The clay buildup works like a rake when you're sculpting. So ayan. You can put in certain details like if let's say gusto kong mas muscled yung look niya dito. Yan. Just gonna apply more pressure and then mas gusto ko let's say dito sa part na to mas nakabaon yung
Mm-hmm.
skin niya. So I just alternate it, push it in more. So parang ikaw isipin mo, okay, nakuha mo na yung form mo pero sobrang rough niya. Well, that's when you hold shift dito sa ZBrush and
Ano yung shift?
you get the
Ah,
smooth tool. You can smooth things out and just blend them.
okay.
And then you get that certain look na, let's say I'm happy with this kind of look na dyan. The dam standard, this is what you use for slicing or adding details, like fine details. So if I want na mas pronounced tong area na to, ayan, it cuts through the mesh. Ayan.
Galing.
So these are the three tools. Yan yung magbe-best friend na tools ko. Yung mga iba, I just use them situationally. Like yung hook, yun nga, if I want to make tendrils or yung fingers ng character, or like say, itong part na to, when I actually did this, I used the snake hook. Ginawa ko lang dyan, I can show it here,
Mm-hmm.
is I pulled it out the side. Yan, so I have this part na, diba? And then, I'll just pull this up
Naka ano siya?
over.
Sorry, i-interrupt kita. Naka-reflect ba siya
Yeah.
or like ano, naka-symmetry?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
So at the start, I like to have things symmetrical. Pero once I start getting into the details na, once I'm happy with yung primary, secondary, and once I retopologize na the mesh, I like to turn off symmetry, and then I like to sculpt left and right. Ayun, just to give it more of a natural feeling. Kasi
Di
it's
equal lahat
symmetrical.
eh. Oo.
Mm,
May
ayun.
pagka lang. Oo.
So, so, ayun. If you can see here, nagbe-break na yung mesh ko. Yeah. It's on Dynamesh mode. So, hold control, left click drag. Yan, malinis na naman siya. Smooth it out. And
Uy,
then I
smooth
apply
ah.
the whole and I apply the whole process na naman. So, like for these parts, I sculpt in yung mga cuts na gusto ko. The pinch tool is also useful if you want to pinch certain areas, like ito masyadong makapal siya. So I can just pinch it in. Yan.
So, parang talagang kamay siya na nagpipinch.
And then the H poly brush, it's used to flatten things out. So if you're working with hard surfaces on Zbrush, this is very useful.
Mm.
Um, I tend not to use this a lot. Very situational lang siya. And whenever I do hard surfaces, I don't use ZBrush. There are other artists there who can do that. I'm not one of those. Mas prefer ko pa rin mag-push and pull ng mga vertices sa Maya whenever I do hard surfaces.
Okay.
Uh, one nifty trick na natutunan ko when I was making bugs, when I was making yung si Beedrill, was using the clay polish brush. May ginagawa to na when you click clay polish, ayan, it polishes it out, diba? I'm not sure if you can see this, pero it shows na there's some parts that are dark.
Mm-hmm.
Minask niya yung area na yan. So, what you can do is, you can invert the mask by holding control and then left click ka lang. Yeah, ayan. And inverted na yung mask ko. What I'm going to do is, I'm just going to turn off yung visibility ng mask. So the mask is still on, hinide ko lang yung visibility. Just so you guys can see the effect.
So, yung
And I
mask,
like
doon ka lang nakapag-pull and push ng mesh, tama ba?
This is to add like extra details. Like let's say if you want to get this kind of detail, yung look na ganyan. Tinuro to sa akin nung prof ko dati sa Nomon. So what he does is, he'll use the clay polish. It will create a mask, as you can see, and then invert the mask. Just hide the view para lang makita mo yung overall picture, and then use the inflate tool, and then you get this really cool cuts.
Oo nga, no? Nice.
So it's something that I abused a lot nung ginawa ko si Beedrill. I would turn on clay polish, invert it, and then just use the inflate tool and then start sculpting away wherever I want. Yan. And then I make sure na tatanggalin ko yung mask in the end. Kasi if you don't take that out, if you try to push and pull with the move tool, parang, ano nangyari dito? Ano nangyari? So, yan. For like details, like yung ginawa ko, like let's say, I want like holes dito sa skin niya. What I like doing is using the standard brush and then selecting an alpha. So it depends on the look that I want to pull off. Pero usually I like using alpha 03 and then just going here to stroke and then spray. From here, and you get like this really bumpy look to it.
Okay. Oh, I know.
At other times, this is really nifty. Like let's say after I work on a hard surface model sa Maya, and then I want to detail it dito sa ZBrush. So may mga bumps and mga rust yung metal, di ba? So I tend to use this a lot. You can also do is you can select itong alpha 33. So it's a lot of dots. So ayan yung look niya. What you can do with this is you can just use yung drag tool dito, and then ayan.
Uy, nice.
Get like this. Ayan. So basically, this is just how I did si Beedrill kanina. Just switching between different kinds of alphas, and then going to the damn standard, naglalagay lang ng mga details na ganyan. Actually, I don't even look at it. Like whenever I was doing yung mga ganitong finishing look, Basically, I'm just sculpting wherever eh. On my other screen, nanonood lang ako tapos nagre-rake lang ako.
So, no
Then
look?
tinitig
Gumagano-gano ka lang?
minsan kasi it's just very random eh. Like you don't really need to be very specific with it. Unless like let's
Okay.
say itong area na to, gusto kong na I want to give some quote-unquote more loving to it. So I will go like this. So titignan ko talaga siya. Pero for most of the time, like let's say kailangan ko lang ng general rake dito. Yan, ganyan-ganyan ka lang. Sculpt. Just sculpt it away. Like nobody's gonna notice whatever imperfections you do sa sculpt. And actually those imperfections might help pa nga eh. So, ayun,
Do you bring it back
other
to
use
Maya after? Yung lahat nito?
eventually I bring it back to Maya kasi I need to render it eh. And whenever I do my textures, so another thing that I can show is when I do my textures, I use just a standard brush, pick a color that I want, let's say kulay yellow tong character na to eh. And
Okay.
then put on skin shaded. So you can find that here in the drop down menu of ZBrush. It's called Skin Shaded 4. So I just have it at the side because these are my go-to materials. So I use Skin Shaded and then yung standard brush ko dito, and I turn this off kasi Z add and Z sub is for your sculpting eh.
Okay.
So I turn this off and then I put on RGB. And then I color away. So typically I get the base color. I fill the object muna with the base color that I want. So yellow siya, diba? So ayan siya. Yellow. And since ito yung reference ko, I would think of an alpha that would suit this. So from the top of my head, kung isipin ko to, I could probably use tong si alpha 23. And then let's say I get a darker shade of color. Yan. Then I'll just color it away. Low detail yung itsura nung texture at the moment kasi low poly lang ako.
Okay.
Pero if it's high poly, that's the thing with ZBrush. The higher your poly, the higher yung detail mo rin sa poly paint mo. As compared to using Substance Painter or Mari, you can have a low poly mesh pero yung texture mo would still look good enough. Kumbaga. I can open si Beedrill again just to show you guys kung ano yung itsura nung end result niya texturing. But yeah, I use ZBrush just for the basic coloring, and the rest of the texture of Beedrill, if I'll show you guys yung render ko dito. Like yeah, so this was my initial render. This was basically setting up the materials in Maya, and then bringing the textures, the displacement maps, and the color maps into V-Ray as well.
Okay.
So,
Ambient occlusion.
ano lang to?
Nice.
Ambient occlusion. It's a very basic ambient occlusion and beauty render on top of each other. So from the get-go, maganda na siya. Yan, like the breakage of the reflections is quite good enough for me dito sa parts na to. Ayan. That's all thanks.
Mata, bro. As
sa
ngayon
ZBrush.
Ngayon ko lang napansin when you zoomed in. As in, bawat pala, may dimple.
Yeah.
We call it a dimple.
Yeah.
Parang basketball.
So, ayun, yung nakita mong sobrang dinetail ko, it paid off eventually.
Ang ganda.
Like you can see dito sa render, like ano pa lang to this is just like basic material pa lang sa Maya.
Ganda.
I haven't tweaked the V-Ray settings yet. In-apply ko lang yung diffuse color ko and then that's it. Yung reflection niya, wala pang map yan.
Wow.
This is basically just the work of diffuse and displacement maps. So it really pays off detailing your model. And so you can see may breakage na kagad siya sa reflections.
Pwede yung pahiram ng models para pag next mag-battle kami ni Sir Vernon. Meron ako.
Nakarig na to actually. Kasi
joke
like
lang Vernon. Thank you for guesting. By the way guys, if check out Vernon's video, super awesome din yung yung live stream niya. Pero peace tayo.
Fun fact, Vernon was my boss dati.
Really? Sa which? Sa Philippines?
Yeah, when we were both working there in Philippines, we were
Sa,
both in Makati. Dalawa lang kaming 3D artist doon.
sa Lady Luck? Saan to?
I forgot the name. Unfortunately, I forgot the name. We were doing previous work dati.
Okay.
Ayun. And matagal na niyang plan yun nga, yung ginagawa niya sa Instagram. Kaya sobrang nakakatuwa na he finally pulled it off.
Speaking of
And,
the previous, guys, sa mga nanood kanina, thank you for watching. Kay Herbie naman, kasama din si Sir James na nanonood. Although because of copyright, I think violation daw, sabi ni YouTube, binaba siya. Tinanggal siya sa YouTube pati sa Facebook. So, I'm trying to find a way to repost it kasi sayang ang daming learnings by the end of the question and answer. So, sayang lang din. And then, hopefully, we'll get to have him again sa isa pang live stream na ganito. So, yeah. Sorry, Vernon. Sorry, James. Balik tayo.
okay lang. It's all good. Ayan. This is different HDR that I use. Tapos may backplate lang ako nilagay.
HDR? Okay, cool.
Yeah, so mostly when I light, I use HDR. Tapos may isa akong area light, custom area light just for sunlight.
Mm-mm.
So as you can see dito.
Not enough yung HDR. Kailangan pa ng extra.
Minsan. Kasi I already have a library of HDRs that I love using.
Mm-hmm.
So alam ko na kung ano yung magiging itsura niya when I render. And I know na kailangan ko magdagdag ng certain lights to them. So medyo nagagamay ko na rin yung mga tools ko. That's also a nifty thing to do. It's like have a vast library for yourself when it comes to HDRs, textures, mga ganun. I've been doing it lately rin with materials sa V-Ray. Like instead of, plugging lahat ng mga nodes ko na naman and then tweaking the settings, meron na akong custom oil material, custom skin material, mga ganun. Naka-ready lang.
Oh,
and
nice.
all I have to do is just change the maps. In a working environment, meron na akong base mesh. I have a lot of base mesh ready sa Zbrush. And I just use those, import them in Zbrush, and then sculpt away. Typical na go-to ko na character dito sa Zbrush when I'm working is tong si Nick Average. So I love using this guy a lot for my starting base mesh for humanoid characters.
Bro, PG-13 to. Joke lang.
Kaya nga
Keep it here sa base.
Kaya sinumit ko kagad dito. I actually have custom tool. I actually have a custom object yun na yun nga hindi na PG. PG friendly na.
Baka shutdown tayo ulit, bro. Joke lang.
I like using tong si Nick Average a lot. Kasi dito sa Zbrush, if you look through, hold on, kasi if you go through yung yung layers niya, he's already rigged.
Oo nga na.
So you can have his arm down. Sorry, hindi ko mapakita yung buo kasi alam mo na.
Pero galing,
so you can have.
I never knew na nakakapag-rig ko pala sa Zbrush. I always thought na talaga modeling lang siya. And adding displacement.
Rig in a certain way, animate. This is one way of doing blend shapes. Like let's say you have a neutral-faced character.
Okay.
Tapos you want him to smile, mga ganon. So you can use tong layers dito. And then create like just a smile for the character or frowning siya or angry siya.
So, parang blend shape, you paint it para i-distort and then you record it as a blend shape, ganun?
Yeah.
That's how you rig it.
If you want, I can just show you a quick one dito. So, let's say itong si Nick Average.
Okay.
Ganito siya, di ba? Medyo sad yung mukha niya.
Sige.
So, let's make him smile, let's say. So, I just click new. Tapos, I just... Usually, when you have like a model like this, let's say mataas na yung poly niya, it's always good to put it sa lowest quality niya, just so that you can push and pull better. So let's say I want to make him smile. So, yan. Smile for me. Medyo awkward ng smile niya. So, yeah.
Bro, PG-13. PG-13. So, sige, mukhang wholesome naman yung smile niya. Sige. Mukhang hindi naman, wanted.
So, after niyan, I click this record dito. So,
Okay.
off na siya. Anytime I can bring it back na. Ayan.
Okay. Ang galing. Pero you don't usually
Yeah.
do that for animation. You just do it for poses, na?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, may mga certain characters ako na, let's say, kasi sometimes when I do personal artwork, may mga certain goals ako sa kanya. Like, I want to do it from start to finish or I just want to sculpt it, render it. Tapos, syempre, may post naman siya. So, I use tong layers to post my character.
Okay.
Para anytime I open my file, like let's say after a few months or after 1 year, biglang naisip ko, ay gusto ko i-rig yung character niya na ni-animate. At
Mm-hmm.
least may neutral post print siya.
Oo nga,
Kasi
nice.
if you do it from the get-go kaagad, wala na. Naka-post na siya forever and you can't do anything about that. I learned that the hard way kasi I had a character that I sculpted, tapos pinost ko siya.
Oh.
Tapos na-override ko yung save ko.
Oh no.
And forever na siya nandun sa post na yun. I can't
So
bring
di
him
mo
back dun
balik?
sa
Oh no.
neutral. Kaya yun, medyo nanghinayang ako sa ano na yun, sa file na yun. But oh well, lesson learned. So, ayun lang naman. Yeah, the beauty talaga of ZBrush is that you can it's basically working with digital clay kasi you can do anything you want dito. Ayan, like, you know, make this into kind of a demon character, pull lang yung horns niya dyan, okay na yan. Sometimes I use Nick Average to make alien characters or female characters. Kasi all you have to do is like just use yung move tool.
Mm-hmm.
Tapos, just slim down yung dito niya. Then take out the shoulder. If I wanted it more to be like an alien character, let's say alien ako dito, let's make one of the famous alien faces. So I can just go to Dynamesh mode. Yan.
So nagsiswitch ka lagi to Dynamesh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whenever I work in ZBrush, I always switch Dynamesh kaagad. Kasi yun nga, Dynamesh is very helpful kasi it makes you feel like you're working on clay mismo. Hold on.
Okay.
Yun ko lang to. I always get confused with this. And okay. May layer kasi ako. Let me just bake this out. Yan. One thing with Dynamesh mode is that tinatanggal niya yung details.
Okay.
So like let's say yung fingers dito, nawala yung details ko dito. So what you can do is just increase the resolution. Get to that point na you're happy enough with how much details it keeps.
Mm-hmm.
Pero low enough na hindi siya like let's say ngayon 50k siya, so medyo mahirap mag-push and pull dito kasi masyadong marami na yung mga poly points niya. So maybe somewhere around say mga 200. Yan, so mga 20k active points. Okay na yan for me. Tapos from here, yan, let's say we make yung si Geiger alien. All you have to do is just pull this here, smooth it out, and you have somewhat of a starting mesh. If you guys know tong alien na to. I'm sure quite famous siya. And if I want to have like a mouth for the character, typically when I make characters kasi I have their mouths open for rigging kasi minsan I like to rig rin eh. I'm not super professional with it pero I'm a generalist kaya I always love learning other things sa 3D. Like hindi ako mapakali kung model lang ginagawa ko.
Grabe.
That's how I ended up being a generalist eh. Kasi dati it started with I want to learn how to sculpt. Tapos parang pero ang pangit naman kung gray lang siya. So I'll learn how to texture. Tapos parang
Wala na.
puro print screen lang gagawin ko eh. So kumbaga I'll learn rendering. Tapos once I learned rendering, syempre isipin mo ang pangit ako naka-neutral pose. So I learned rigging. Tapos wala na. Sunod-sunod na yun.
May question
But eventually,
sige. But eventually, sorry.
yeah.
May question lang.
Yeah.
For those beginners lang, kasi marami na inspire ata in watching you do your ZBrush sculptures. Of course, some of them wants to maybe try to start learning ZBrush, what are your recommended resources na easy to follow na hindi masyado intimidating din? What do you think?
Hmm. Um, Digital tutors, pinaka-go-to ko. I
Talaga?
mean, back when I was in college, digital tutors talaga yung ano ko eh, yung number one na source for learning kasi they're very beginner friendly. I think they're called Plural
Plural.
Site now.
Yes, actually
Uh,
plural site. So, eto
yeah.
guys, I'm
So
putting it,
for the new
pluralsite.com.
guys,
Uh,
digital tutors yung tawag sa kanya dati.
ayan.
And it had an icon of a guy doon, di ba, na nakasalamin.
And
That guy's
I'm
name is si
si
that
I'm
guy's name
digital
is si Papa
guru.
Giorgio. Digital tutors and digital guru. Pero yun,
Tagalog. Oh,
Plural Site has a lot of resources to learn from.
okay.
Zbrush Central actually, ang dami nilang magagandang tutorials.
Easy to follow naman yan.
Yeah. So those are my go-to. Um, for more of intermediate, actually for beginner friendly rin.
Oo.
Actually intermediate na. Like once you get to that intermediate level, once you know na how to sculpt, yung basics nung ano nyo, um, yung basic ng interface, how to use certain tools. Alam mo yun, yung gamay mo na yung ZBrush kahit papaano sa surface.
Mm-hmm.
You can learn from this guy, Ryan Kingsley.
Ano spelling, bro? Ryan.
I can send it over to you sa chat natin if I can manage to find. Ayan. So, oops. So, ito yung name niya, Ryan Kingsley.
Copying
Ayan.
it. Okay.
I can show you guys here. I'll bring it to my monitor. Yan. So this guy is super, super really good. Traditional sculptor siya. And then, ayan, he transitions everything na he knows from
Whoa.
traditional sculpting to sa ZBrush. So if you want to learn more anatomy, ayan, he'll teach you how to do
Whoa.
this.
My goodness.
Yeah, so
How
it's
long,
very
bro?
detailed.
How long? How long will you learn ZBrush? Like, for me, by the way, kinukulit ko si James for years now. Tinatry ko matuto ng ZBrush kasi kaso lang, una, I don't have the time, and then the software is just 14 days. Come on, I can't can't learn that in 14 days.
The fun fact is they have a monthly subscription na.
How much? How much?
I forgot eh kasi I went for the one time big time eh.
Okay.
Pero I think it's similar na rin sa Photoshop
Creative Cloud. Check
with
that out.
Adobe. Yeah, I think they have almost the same price. Not sure. Pero if you want to get an idea how was my first ZBrush sculpt, ito. Ayan.
Oh, not bad. Pero, dude, still.
This was my first ZBrush sculpt. Circa 2009.
2009, wow.
Yeah. Tapos, I'll look for other photos. Baka kung ano pang mga artwork mapakita dyan. I'll just put it on my other screen. This was my thesis character. I was using ZBrush 3.1, 4, mga ganon. Not sure. Pero, ayun. I was learning pa from digital tutors. That time. Side by side pa yan. I only had one monitor, tapos nag-i-sculpt ako sa ZBrush, tapos pinapanood ko sa VLC, always on top. Pinapanood ko yung tutorial.
VLC, para, Python, ato yun.
Back in the good old days, when
Guys, pay for software and pay for,
Pero, ayun, a lot of my works actually revolved with ZBrush. This was one of my first works ever. After I graduated from, actually hindi pa ako gumagraduate nun. Sir Joel Chua, one of the profs rin sa field. Like a really great prof sa Photoshop and with painting. He gave me a freelance that I could work on. And this was the first freelance that I did. It was for Publicis Jimenez for Silverworks. It was a billboard.
Silverworks.
They needed like this. Yeah. they needed
Ka-coworker
like
ko si
the
Dulcie dyan. So yeah. Yan yung ano.
oh yeah, so I did this using ZBrush. Yeah, nag-crash yung Maya.
Oh, no.
Yeah, pero this whole thing was done in ZBrush, yung details niyan.
Ganda niyan.
Yan.
Nakita ko yan.
So, ayan. I did yung antlers niya. I did the antler. I did yung mga 3D assets na kailangan nila.
Oh, okay.
And then sila na lang yung nag-comp in for
Photoshop.
the billboard. Yeah. This
Galing.
one was just pure Maya. Pero for like the
Circle.
antlers and yung tentacles dito, I used ZBrush. So I'm always hand in hand with ZBrush and Maya. When I detail characters, kahit yung mga hard surfaces ko, when I detail them, I end up using ZBrush rin. So I can look for one of my project files. Hold on. Let me just look for that. 2018.
Wow, mukhang nakaubos ka na ng mga ilang terabytes na.
May separate na naman ako. May separate na call this hard drive. And dalawa sila usually. Just in case masira yung isang backup.
Oo, nangyari na sa akin
Kasi,
yan. I had one hard drive lahat.
Oh. I had, sayang nga, nasira lang like 2 years ago yung isang hard drive ko and it had all my files in college.
Uy, same! Same! 1 terabyte worth of files. Parang ako, no!
It had my college day files pa naman. I wanted to open them up just so, alam mo yun, yung matawa ka lang from time to time just to see like, na ganito pala yung pinagagawa ko dati. Pero yun, I think the file is heavy so
sige.
Bukas lang ako ng I'll open a different project that I worked on. Yeah. With Dr. Jose Rizal, I can show that. Yeah. With Dr. Jose, kasi I did a Dr. Jose Rizal sculpt dati after I graduate. So ito, just a quick view. Ito yung hard surface na ginawa ko sa ZBrush.
Oh, nice.
It's for one of the characters in Warhammer. I'm quite a Warhammer fan.
Nice.
So I decided to make yung isang character dun. Anyway, I did a Jose Rizal sculpt kasi dati after I graduated from college. Tapos, wala. Medyo fail yung itsura. I can show you guys kung ano yung itsura niya dati. Hold on, let me just dig through. It's a good thing na I love posting my artwork sa ano ba to? Sa Facebook a lot. So na-preserve yung mga ibang artworks ko nung nasira yung hard drive ko. So this was my Jose Rizal sculpt dati. This was 8 years ago. Ayan.
Oh, wow.
And this is the Jose Rizal that I did. So, ayan. I did this last year for actually, I did this last year for Independence Day. I was inspired by several artists, kaya gusto ko na-feel ko na gusto ko gumawa ng character. I've always been sculpting characters pero I've never finished them, like render them. Lagi ako na-stuck sa rendering part kasi sobrang hirap na hirap ako getting realistic skin. When it comes pa naman to personal artwork, I always, alam mo naman yun, I think all of us artists, like we put a certain goal or standard. Tapos pag di na-reach yun, syempre, mapupunta lang sa whip folder yung gawa mo. So, I have a lot of humans na ganun. Pero this time, I took it up as a challenge talaga. I was inspired by 2 artists. Sefki Ibrahim, if I remember correctly, yung name niya. I sent it over sa Facebook mo. Spelling ng name niya. Yeah. So, Sefki Ibrahim and Chris Costa.
Yeah, looking for the Skype. Sige, I'll be posting.
My Facebook is open, so you can see yung gawa ni Sefki.
Okay.
Yeah. So, ayan, this was his work before and after. So,
galing, ganda.
Sobrang na-inspire sa guy na to. And, ayan, this is one of his latest works. There, yeah. Super idol.
The beard, bro, sa Maya siya?
With the beard, yeah. you can use either XGen native sa Maya. You can use Yeti.
Yeti?
And yeah, as in the Yeti monster.
Okay.
And shaven haircut.
Oh, wow. Buhay pa
I
shaven haircut.
Yeah. See Dan Ruarty, another artist that I follow for realistic humans. So I'll show you guys again through my Facebook. Dan Ruarty, he uses shaven haircut from what I know and from what I remember. So ito yung mga gawa niya.
Galing, ganda.
Ayan. So this guy, Dan Ruarty, Sefki Ibrahim, and Chris Costa, they are my favorite artists when it comes to realistic humans. Chris Costa actually has he actually has like a workshop online that you can apply to. Tapos, and he's gonna teach you all of his sculpting tips. So, ito yung isang gawa niyang human. So, yeah.
Okay.
Like really, really inspiring.
Sobrang inspiring. Grabe. 3D yan.
Yep.
Are you sure?
Yeah, dun
Damn.
nga mapapano ka na lang eh. Are you sure 3D
You
yan?
sure?
So, they were the ones who inspired me to come up with the challenge of making si Jose Rizal.
If I
So,
were to invite you back here, maybe teach naman in Tagalog para sa mga parang basics lang. Okay lang kaya sa'yo? Or
okay
would
lang. Yeah.
you... Wala ka bang channel? Can you make like Zbrush tutorials for me?
I feel like there are a lot of people na out there who do such a great job. Kaya parang ako, I don't need to add to those. Or,
Still,
parang,
malay mo.
I feel like,
Oh,
what can I contribute? Kasi basically, what I'm gonna put is what they're also putting and what I'm learning from them.
oh, malay mo. Kasi sometimes language barrier dun eh. So, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Since nawalan tayo ng oras,
Yeah.
for the Jose Rizal details, I use textures from this website called
Oh,
Texturing
wow.
XYZ. So they do realistic scans of humans, and as you can see, different studios use them.
Oh, wow. Dineg din eh.
So they use
Sensor.
different. So they scan different things. They scan furnitures, pero mostly I get from them human skin. So they have like diffuse, they have yung displacement maps na, and they're only like for $40 lang you have all of those na. Tapos I think they're in 16K or more, 32K.
Oh, wow.
Yung resolution texture. Kaya all the way to the pore talaga you can see all of those nifty details. Ayan. Like if you go to their website.
Grabe.
So, tini-3D scan talaga nila yung mga tao and then, they sell them out. So, texturing XYZ is really good. I know they have a library, of animal skin. I'm planning to buy one of the animal skins dito kasi I have a project that I'm making na medyo alligator yung skin niya. Yeah, and they have cloth here. So,
wait, so you apply it as brush, as ZBrush, or do you apply it as texture sa Maya?
You apply it as texture sa ZBrush.
Okay.
So in ZBrush kasi you can project textures.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do that. Naglag na yung ZBrush eh. Ang bigat kasi ng file. Pero you can project textures kasi in ZBrush. Personally, whenever I use textures from this site, I like to use Mari for it. Doon ko na lang siya pinoproject. I use Mari or I use Substance. It depends rin. The reason why I also learn different programs is because it's always useful to learn other programs. Get to know yung mga pros and cons nila and also be updated kumbaga sa industry. I think the only thing na hindi pa ako nagda-dabble into is Blender so far. I mean, I've installed it pero I haven't gotten the chance to open it up.
Oh yeah.
Ayun.
So, and compositing, wala ka pang grading, no? Color grading, compositing.
that's
Nagpo-focus
the
ka sa
thing.
modeling.
Yeah, that's the thing. Last year it was a challenge of mine to learn how to composite. So first time ko natutunan gumawa, kasi dati I render lang sa V-Ray. After I render, I bring it to Photoshop, tapos basic coloring, basic masking. And then I told myself na I wanted to learn how to composite better. So I took it up as a challenge. I learned Nuke. Thanks to si Kuya Carl Jean, my former office mate sa Post Manila, he helped me learn how to use Nuke. And si Nikolai Alto, both of them are the compositors sa Post Manila, and they helped me learn how to composite. Pero
Nice.
yun, so here's like one of my renders. I'm not sure if you can see it. See B-Drill.
Mhm.
And yan, I learned how to use yung
Passes.
mga render layers actually. Yeah, render passes. So dati hindi ako nagre-render ng mga ganito, ng mga render passes.
Oo.
All I did
Wow.
was just mask it lang sa Photoshop, tapos ano na lang, parang good luck kung maganda yung results na makukuha ko. Tapos yun, I brought it to myself to learn how to composite. Even though
Awesome.
sobrang daunting. Kasi sometimes yun nga, you just have to take a leap and learn something new.
Mm-mm.
And dahil dito, I learned na, alam mo yung minsan when you're rendering or when you're coloring, parang minsan iisipin mo, yung yellow niya parang hindi yung yellow na gusto ko.
Pwede mo
So,
palitan yung hue.
alangan i-render mo yun ulit. Kasi
Ah.
dati, I'll be honest, I used to do that.
Oh no, I did.
I-re-render.
Yung
I-re-render.
oras.
Oh, and like whenever I render, it takes time. Like usually it takes 30 minutes, 40 minutes, mga ganun. So, that's why I learned how to, yun nga, composite in Nuke. Tapos I learned na you can just tweak yung, yung diffuse mo dito mismo.
Oo.
And then get the result that you want.
Sige nga, show us how nga, show us how. Alterin mo nga yung diffuse. Para sa mga bata.
Grading? Hala, hindi ko sure kung nanonood si Arjun.
Nalagot ka.
Grade shader, tapos usually I tweak yung multiply. Tapos ayun, hindi nakita yung result, medyo napapayama eh. Tapos ayun, I can change yung color niya dito. So if I wanted like a yellowish B-drill or for whatever reason, gusto ko siya mas yellow. Ayan. Very basic thing. Di ko sure kung nakita yung result, pero
tapos sasabihin ng kliyente, parang yung chenemis yung yellow.
Actually show a project na I did na I specifically did this project on purpose to learn how to composite talaga. So, we had this challenge sa school where I studied na to make a render. Tapos, take a photo of something and then make a 3D model out of it and render it. And then and then you should have a side-by-side comparison. Tapos papaisip mo sa mga tao kung ano yung realistic, kung ano yung hindi.
Mm-hmm.
This was yung hold on, let me just look for it. This was yung so this was yung end result nung model ko. Tapos this was yung render. This was yung picture. Ayan.
So yun yung CG or real thing?
One on the left is the CG one, the one on the right is the CG. Is the picture.
So guys, can you tell? Wait lang, natatakpo ng Skype natin. Ayan. So left is the CG, right is the toy.
Yeah.
Tama?
Yep, tama.
Or hindi, I think both are the toys, bro. Niloko mo kami.
Ayun, same thing, I used Zbrush for this. I used a bit of photogrammetry kasi I had the toy.
Okay. So nag-scan
photogrammetry. Yeah, so I did a quick scan just to get the overall proportions, kumbaga. Tapos when I got the overall proportions na, I started sculpting over it. I can show actually. Mahilig ako the making na
Ano naman software yan? Parang naglilista ako ng mga software, bro. How many softwares do you study?
I just saw Photoscan.
Actually, meron ako niyan. I got the educational discount. Yes. para sa drone ko.
One of my office mates, kasi he loves doing photo scans. There was one that he recommended in Steam. I forgot the name Pero I can send you a link. Hello!
Hello, hi guys. This is my daughter.
What?
Ha? Punta ka muna doon. Laro ka sa school. Laro ka. Ha? Laro tayo mamaya. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Say bye-bye.
So, ayun, yeah, so one of my office mates, he does a lot of 3D scanning. He recommended a tool sa Steam that you can buy.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, well, it works better for him. So, ayun. Anyway, what I did with this is, so, ayan, I did a 3D scan of it, and then I did a base model sa Maya, like a base overlay. Kasi the 3D scan was not that proportioned kasi I just did a quick 3D scan. So it
Okay.
didn't fit 1:1 talaga. Tapos after this, I brought it to Zbrush. There's an X-ray mode sa Zbrush. So I used that for getting the overall silhouette of the toy.
Mm-hmm.
And then before I did the photo shoot, I was already choosing kung anong lighting gusto ko.
Ginagaya mo na
So
yung sa toy.
yeah, so actually hindi ko pa kasi I had to borrow cameras dun sa school pero they were all being rented. So I had to wait for 1 week. So inisip ko, I'll plan na how I want to light my shot. So I went into V-Ray and then started rendering na.
Mm.
Pero when I did the photo shoot, alam ko na kung anong light na kukunin ko. Tapos kung anong angle yung gusto ko. Yun. Ayan. So this is one example where I worked hand in hand with V-Ray. So I had one V-Ray, I had Maya opened in one screen, tapos I had ZBrush on the other. What I would do is I would save yung displacement map ko, refresh it in Maya, and then render a portion just to see how the skin was looking like. So, tinatry ko gayahin yung details dito and how the muscle was forming. So if you can see here, nagdi-dip down yung muscle nung... So I was trying to get the same effect dito. So I wasn't getting it from the angle that I was rendering. So ayun, I will use the move brush, move this part over lower, and then re-render it again just to see if it's looking proper. Kung nakukuha niya yung look na yun. Then ayun, unti-unti nakukuha ko na yung details niya. This was a lot of back and forth with ZBrush and V-Ray just to try to get the look. And at the same time, dini-develop ka na. This is where I was doing multiple things at the same time. I was sculpting and at the same time, I was developing yung material sa ZBrush to come up with a plastic look. So, ayan. Hindi ako na-satisfy dito kasi brown lang siya. I wanted to know how white would look like dun sa material na ginawa ko sa V-Ray. Mm-hmm. So, I did a quick white painting onto the model. So, yan. Clearly, yung reflections ko weren't as sharp as doon sa picture. So, I had to tweak that as well. And this was a breakdown kasi I needed to show sa school of how I did the fur. And fun fact, I only sculpted the details sa half lang ng model. Kasi yun lang ipapakita ko sa render. So, the other half, wala siyang details. Tapos it was really fully detailed. So, these were my best friends. Damn standard. To cut this out. Yung Claybuildup, like what I showed, just to push forms up. Tapos, there's this tool called the Rake Tool. It's like the damn standard, pero marami siya, like 3 cuts. So you can get like, parang claws ni Wolverine. So, ayun. And then, I just use the inflate tool para ma-puff out lang yung details niya. And then, I do that again and again. Ayan, until I get the result that I like.
Galing.
Oh, ayan siya sa ZBrush.
How long did it take you this?
Not sure kasi whenever I work, sometimes I get too lost na I work the whole day. Kasi this is also like my hobby. I really love doing this. Kaya from time to time, sometimes I set a day where may mga times na I set a day where I just sit in front of the computer tapos I'll just sculpt. I disable yung Facebook ko. Any other social media, Viber lang yung on so that my folks can contact me. Tapos wala, nag-ano lang ako, nag-3D artwork lang ako the whole day.
Wow.
I set up challenges for myself. like a time limit na hanggang ganito lang yung gagawin ko. I think for this, it took me around 1 week overall to do this.
How many hours
Tapos
a
ano lang,
day? Like 24 hours? Dude, I'm seeing the details kasi.
kasi probably
Do you still eat?
say
Nagwiwiwi ka ba? You wear diapers?
maybe around 14 hours, 16
14
hours.
hours? Wow.
Not sure,
Amazing,
yeah.
bro. Parang
Tapos take
galing.
breaks. And I take breaks naman, I eat. Tapos yun. Get some sunlight para hindi naman parang vampira. Tapos yun. Usually kasi I have like I call them milestones for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once I reach a certain detail or like a certain look that I want, I'll take like the whole week or the whole day off. Like I won't even do 3D or anything. Kasi
Mm.
na-reach ko na yun. So as a reward to myself, wala, magano lang ako. Magbabasa lang ako or usually nagbi-binge lang ako ng video games ko. Just
Mm.
play the whole day or whatever. Ayun. Yeah, I use Zbrush for this, Maya, and V-Ray. Those are my three best friends. And ayan, makita nyo. Everything is so detailed in front dun sa wolf.
Galing.
Pero pagdating sa likod, wala.
Sa harap lang.
Kasi it's all I needed for the shot.
What
Just to
about,
get...
anong sabi mo, the small detail matters, bro? Sa likod pa rin yan. Di joke lang.
Nangyari yun.
Di joke lang, joke lang. So yung first
Ayun,
half is 14 hours, ganun for 1 week. Ganun.
ito, I had a challenge. I was really challenged with this kasi I wanted to get like a 1:1 as much as possible.
Oo, para hindi siya full,
So,
oo.
yeah. It was fun. It was fun naman. I didn't, I got it as close to it as possible. That's the thing with us artists. Most of the time we guesstimate things.
Guesstimate.
Unless siguro na that's the term I learned from my instructors. That is a no mon. You guesstimate things.
Guesstimate.
Unless sobrang precise talaga yung requirement ng client or no. That's the thing. That's the reason why I also like measure things. Usually I use Maya for measuring centimeters.
Mm-hmm.
ZBrush is very call this scale sensitive.
Ah, really? Ah, didn't know that.
So like the bigger your model is, the more na kailangan taasan mo yung intensity nung tool mo.
Mm.
Else hindi talaga mag-push in yung details na ini-sculpt mo. Same likewise, if your model is like 1 centimeter big lang, pag nag-sculpt ka sa ZBrush, konting pressure lang, parang, nangyari dito. So, ayun, that's one thing to keep in mind. Kaya whenever I do my artworks, I always scale them first in Photoshop, in Maya. Kasi Maya is, alam ko, native niya is centimeters. So I usually have a cube doon, tapos I scale them to whatever size that I need.
So yun yung blocking mo kanina. Ah, okay.
So I also do that. So like with yung si Beedrill, I research talaga. I check dun sa Pokemon data if they really had like kung ano yung height niya and all that. And fortunately they did. So
Cool.
ayun. There's another project here that I was doing this for fun, tapos it turned out kasi sometimes I just like to relax, like just sculpt away. So there's this cartoon sa YouTube, they call it Bat Metal. Tapos si Batman kumakanta ng heavy metal. So ganito yung itsura ng character na yun. Tapos I had so much fun working on the project. I was supposed to sculpt lang yung anatomy niya. I was thinking ng Arnold Schwarzenegger na sobrang buff. Yung sobrang steroidal ng look. Tapos I ended up rendering it as a full project na. So ito siya, post in ZBrush. Tapos ayan. Yung mga details niyan. Same thing with the details. All I did dyan was just use the damn standard, Claybuildup. Yun lang talaga. Nothing special with the tools that I use. They're just all native sa ZBrush. And then when I was doing my render test, again, devils in the detail, it paid off na I kept sculpting all of those fine details here. Kasi when I rendered his suit, this is how it looked like.
Oo, kita mo talaga yung effect ng texture niya. Galing. Mukhang ang toy eh. Galing.
Yun yung mga sinasabi. That was the reference that I was actually going for. Yan, so you can see nandun yung mga lakes niya. Yan. And all of these details were just done using, yun, just two tools. Time standard, Claybuildup. Paulit-ulit ko lang ginagamit. And yun.
Amazing, bro.
Once you get the hang, the thing lang with ZBrush is the interface eh. Medyo daunting siya sa umpisa kasi like the tools are all over the place eh. Pero once you're familiar like where to find certain tools, what tools to use, makita mo na it's just really simple and easy. Especially like for me, I have a specific target with ZBrush. All I do lang naman with it is just detail my models. Yun yung primary purpose ko for ZBrush. And also, that's where I start modeling. Kasi dati, I used to start my models in Maya. Pulling and pushing vertices, old school style.
Old school.
The thing with that is it's very technical. Kasi diba, you have to add an edge, move yung edge flow mo dito, mga ganun. The thing that I learned with ZBrush is that, especially yung nga, Dynamesh, is that it's amazing kasi it's like you're sculpting with real tangible clay. You put every technical thing aside and then just sculpt. So that's really a nifty thing about it. Tapos, yeah, I start usually in ZBrush. Dati yung workflow ko was I start in Maya and then I bring it to ZBrush. 80%, 90% of the time, I do things in ZBrush na muna and then I just bring it to Maya to retopologize and then to render. So,
nice.
Yun.
Galing.
So it's a really, not that we're promoting, pero there are other tools rin naman out there. There's Mudbox. I tried using Mudbox rin. It's really cool. I did dabble into Sculptris. So if anyone wants a free software that's similar to ZBrush and Mudbox, meron Sculptris. I think it's from ZBrush kasi it was an independent program dati from what I know. Tapos ZBrush bought it off. And then ayun, it's like a free version. So you guys can use that. If you have Blender, alam ko Blender also has a sculpting tool na rin eh. Not sure.
Everyone I think has a sculpting tool na.
Yeah. And same thing, this print screen lang to nung
Galing.
Pure Ref. Tapos yan, it started with si Bat Metal mismo. I had the references of him here. Sorry, pixelated siya. Tapos I had anatomy references. I wanted to get yung mga muscles, like which areas. Tapos I reference yung mga Mr. Universe kasi yun, sobrang exaggerated ng mga muscles nila.
Oo nga grabe.
Yeah, tapos dito sa side, I had like itsura ng latex material ng gloves, itsura ng leather boots, Kevlar, mga ganyan. Ito, randomly, may mat dun sa gym, and then nagustuhan ko yung reflection niya, so I took a photo of it.
Galing, so
and
parang then pinress mo. Galing.
Yeah, I pressed it down, and then, ayan, yung result niya, that's what I was kind of... So, as much as all of my references, as much as possible, I use realistic references. Unless I'm at a block or I want some inspiration. Like katulad nito, I was looking at how others did their Batman or how Batman looks like for other artists. So tinitignan ko yun for references. Like, should I go for something more Kevlar-ish na look? That was my initial goal. Pero in the end, I ended up with something like this, yung mukhang matte. Tapos, kasi sobrang pouty ni Batman dun sa artwork. So, I took a lot of references of pouting faces and yung lips. Yeah. I had a separate tool rin. I had a separate pure ref just for lighting references rin. So always I have tons of references. And that's basically it. How I do my stuff.
Thank you, bro. Sobrang daming learnings. As in, wow. How many softwares, dude? Pero as of now, I have to cut you off. Halos magto 2 hours na pala tayo. So, in the meantime,
Wow, ang
siguro
tagal.
Yun, thank you so much. Pwede muna tayo mag-water break, tapos mag-question and answer tayo. For may question kayo, guys, just comment sa baba yung questions niyo or if you wanna say hi. We'll be right back after these messages. Okay.
Okay. Ano yun? Automatic yung ano niya, sir.
Uh, we would just like to thank our live stream partners, Digital Guru Tutorials. We'd like to thank CG Creator Certificate Exam. It is conducted by GDAP, or Games Development Association of the Philippines, and it's originally from CG Arts Japan Society. Japan uses this certification for employment purposes. So, taking the exam will help you open new doors and opportunities to work with your favorite Japanese animation and game studios in Japan. Visit www.cgcreatorcertification.com or visit their Facebook page at CG Creator Certification. And then another partner, of course, next is MAAP, or Multimedia Association of the Philippines. MAAP brings together freelancers, professionals on all multimedia platforms, agencies, and schools. MAAP hopes to enrich Filipino multimedia artists with a strong and national international network for capacity building through seminars, workshops, and national conventions. For more information, visit www.maap.com.ph. You can also find them on Facebook at Maap Official. This live stream is designed by Digital Guru Tutorials. Follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Okay. So, guys, kung may questions kayo, we'll answer a few questions before we end this show. So, thank you ulit, James. Ang daming learnings. I know na marami ka pang gusto i-share. And thank you sobra sa time mo. And then, sa mga, I think, effort yun. Lahat yun, prepare mo yata since last night. Kitang-kita, naka-label and everything. Sabi ko, pinagpuyatan to. So,
Hindi naman.
So, thank you, bro.
Mahilig lang talaga ako mag-organize ng things ko. Which, I think in the end, nag-pay off naman. Kasi like, when you invited me for this, I was like, crap, ano yung show ko dito?
So, reading back sa comments, Ronald, ang galing daw, bro, sabi. Taga New Zealand din yan, bro. Yan yung nagtumulong sa akin gumawa ng app ng Hero Support before. So, baka magkita kayo. Sa ano siya, I don't know kung Wellington siya or Auckland. I'll ask him. So, kita kayo ulit. Yung brother niya, aspiring 3D artist din eh. So, malay mo kung ano.
Nice.
So, yeah. Kita kayo. Tapos, sabi naman ni Sir Edward, this is concerning about yung kay Herbie ata kanina earlier. Yes, sorry to say, we were flagged for copyright.
Sayang nga yun eh.
Oo nga.
But I loved yung pinanood kasi yun nga. The projects that he showed, quite Well, I'm not supposed to say, pero yeah. I'll
That's
just
okay. That's okay.
say.
Wag, baka ma-flag tayo. So, actually, privileged enough na nakukuha ko kayo for a guest in this live stream show. So, um,
Salamat din sa pag-invite actually.
thank you din. And then also yung isang friend din ni James, which is Ryan Serrano, if you're watching right now. Nag-offer din siya mag-volunteer. So, nagulat ako. So, sobrang thankful.
um, Siya
So,
naman yung from WETA Workshop and super ZBrush master yun. So, mas matututo kayo mag-ZBrush from him.
kayo dalawa super ZBrush master, bro. Ako,
Yeah.
I'm still learning the interface. So, yun. So, I think, naku, wala ata masyado nagtatanong, guys. So, how about, ano lang, tell us about working from home during this quarantine for WETA. How is it like?
Um, okay naman. I guess, medyo nasanay rin ako kasi from time to time dati I used to do freelance work.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of feels like that, except yun nga, you're in constant communication. Early in the morning, we contact each other. May group chats kami. Tapos, I think yung nakakaano lang is, kasi like your seniors or people, office mates mo, if you want to talk to them, want to ask them something, parang mas okay na, getting to talk to someone in person
Mm-hmm.
as compared to just typing it away na, ay, may tanong ako sa'yo. Can I ask you this and that? Mga ganun. Um, I also miss yung mga random coffee breaks namin. Kasi sometimes we just go and get coffee, tapos yun, usap-usap, like how are things going, ano yung mga pinagagawa namin, mga ganun. Pero, it's going good naman. It's quite amazing how, technology has gone far. And it shows na, you can do things from the convenience of your house lang mismo.
Mm.
Uh,
Ang tanong ka
maybe
pala, computers niya, paano yan? Like, is this your own or this is from the office when you do your work?
mm, um, the moment, naka-remote lang ako to my
Mm.
computer at work. Yeah.
Ah, wow. So, you're controlling your computer sa studio from your
Yeah.
laptop.
Yeah. Yun yung ginagawa namin.
That's great. Sabagay,
I know,
ano?
I know may mga ano eh. I know may mga ibang, like I know a few artists dyan sa Pinas na they're working from home pero they're controlling a computer either in Europe or in Australia, in America. Kaya parang amazing.
Galing nga eh.
Internet connection lang talaga yung
Walang lag siya, walang
magpapatalo.
lag.
I'm not sure. I didn't get to ask him about it.
Galing, ang galing. So technically parang even though yung laptop mo sobrang low-end specs lang, you can actually create artworks kasi you're controlling the one yung malakas sa bahay, ay sorry, sa studio.
Yeah. All you really need is a powerful internet connection.
Which we don't have in the Philippines.
I think meron naman kasi yun nga I have like several friends who are able to pull it off eh.
How much is
Like
their internet
yung hindi
connection?
ko sure and kung saan. Kasi
Right
like
na.
I know one is working working for a company in Australia. Tapos
Uh,
two are working for a company in the States rin. And yun
is
nga,
this
like they told me
Francis?
they're just remoting to the computers doon.
Oh, wow.
Hmm.
Hmm. Oh.
Yeah, yun. I guess internet lang talaga.
May tanong ko sa'yo. Do you think if you start out as a FX artist here, malaki ba chances na you get hired sa mga yan, like WETA Digital, mga Filipinos working abroad? Or what level do you need to be or you need to reach para at least to be able to just apply and be considered?
To be honest, I'm not quite sure about that. Pero I got to talk to several Filipinos na who are here na. They've
Mm-hmm.
been here for quite a while na, since 2009, 2010. I guess during their time rin kasi medyo iba rin 2009, 2010. Wala pa masyadong mga 3D artists nun eh.
Mm-hmm.
What they did was like some of them applied from Philippines mismo. They applied tapos they got in the company. Others they flew here just try to change life.
Then,
uh, others
patay ako. Bawal ako.
others flew here, tapos they just took their chance, tapos yun, they got in. I guess kasi, diba, times are changing, things are getting stricter, kaya I went for the approach of studying first dito. Tapos, and then they give you the whole visa thing, and then you can apply wherever. So that's the approach that I did here. I also hear from other artists na hindi naman fellow Filipinos, pero from other artists like from Korea, from Indonesia, na they just applied sa company and nagustuhan naman yung magawa nila. They got interviewed online. Tapos ayun, they were told to move here. When you're told to move here, usually they shoulder, ang alam ko, they shoulder yung moving expenses mo. So that wouldn't be a hassle. Tapos they would recommend you places na you could stay at and all that for your family or for yourself lang.
Malaking advantage ba for you to speak English versus mga Koreano and then other Japanese, Malaysian, Indonesian?
Yes, I think that's a big advantage rin, especially dito kasi English-speaking country sila eh. Yeah, I think it's a very big advantage kasi yun nga, like whenever things get very technical, if you're not really fluent in English, medyo parang alam mo yun, you're like, I wonder what it means, mga ganun. I think it's very important to yun nga, have English. Pero I mean, you don't need to be, like, I don't know, like really so high at a level with it. Alam ko they have an English test, like if you go here. So that's one, like you have to take either TOEFL, that's the American version, or I forgot kung ano yung sa British version eh. Pero I had to take that before flying rin dito eh.
Oh, really? You have to take TOEFL?
Apparently it expires.
Huh? Okay.
Kasi diba I went to the States na. So
Okay.
I took that 2013. Tapos I flew here. Before flying here, I thought I could use the same results. Apparently it expires after
What?
3 years yata. Yeah.
Why
So
don't...
apparently,
Ang TOEFL,
yeah,
guys, is like a test if you know English. Parang test siya, diba? Ano yung mga nasa questions dun? Like, what is... Ano ang English na kunyari? Ganun ba yun? Or something?
Di naman. Usually you read. There's a reading comprehension test. There's a speaking comprehension test. Tapos, you read through a certain paragraph. Tapos, there's a Q&A na in the story, blah, 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 blah. Tapos, sasagutin mo lang siya. Multiple choice siya. Tapos, sasabihin mo, ito yung correct answer niya. Tapos, they have an essay portion, a writing portion rin in the end. There's a communication portion where, ayun, IELTS yung tawag dun sa British version.
Ah, okay. Wow.
So, dun sa TOEFL, you basically had to listen to a conversation and then you had like a minute or 30 seconds yata to come up with your answer. Like they will ask you na this character was talking about this character A was talking to character B. What were they talking about? So you have to formulate your answer within 30 seconds or a minute. Tapos yun. You only have a certain time rin to record it, like 2 minutes yata. I think with IELTS, the British version, you have someone who is talking to you in person talaga.
Parang like this Skype, parang ganun.
Yeah. Parang mas trip ko yun compared to listening. Tapos you have 30 seconds to answer. Parang pag 30 seconds, nakapanic. Parang, oh, crap.
So,
And parang nawawala sa thoughts ko yung pinag-iisip ko.
in terms of studying, bro, ano yun, you paid for your studies or you got a scholarship?
My folks shouldered it for me, thankfully. So
Wow.
I owe them a lot for that.
Shout out po. Okay. Grabe, as in Nomon. And then what's the other school? Grabe. Well, there's Benilde and then Nomon. And then there's another one, New Zealand.
I did study sa First Academy dati.
First Academy.
Yeah.
Sa NZ, anong school study mo?
My school was UB Design. It was recommended to me by your next speaker, si Ryan Serrano.
Okay. Sige.
Yeah.
What did you study there? Like 3D then?
Yeah, 3D rin.
Okay.
I kind of didn't want to, kasi for me, parang ayoko na mag-aral ng iba pa eh. Pag I've already, yeah, I had Biniled, tapos yung Nomon, tapos First Acad, parang nakakasawa na. I
This
mean,
is
not that learning is bad, pero
this
alam
is
mo yun, yung
surprising
parang,
kasi after you saying na kailangan constantly mag-aral, pero now you're
no,
saying
that's not specifically what I mean. Pero I think what I'm trying to say is that kumbaga na-key in ko na kung what I specifically want to study.
specialized
So
na.
like, yeah, I don't want to study Photoshop. I don't want to study After Effects. I don't want to study yung mga ibang programs.
Mhm.
So
Focus na.
specifically, yeah, I want to focus on 3D and what I can pick up from it. I know that
Okay.
you can only learn so much, pero alam mo yun, like, you have different tutors rin eh. So they have different experiences.
Mhm.
And so from their experiences, they gain other things. Kasi like, from time to time, napapaisip ko, what else can I possibly learn eh?
Mm.
Tapos pagdating sa office, biglang, may pwedeng palang technique na ganun. Or like a Maya shortcut key.
Yung mga daya.
Na parang, alam na may shortcut key pala yung Maya na ganito. Or may tool pala yung Maya na ganun. So, ayun, you still learn something every day.
Yes.
Sa thing.
Yun na miss ko sa studio din, bro eh. So, as in, araw-araw may madi-discover kang daya. And then, sort of like, yun yung pulutan mo for your next conversation eh. Tapos, alam mo ba to? Parang gano'n, i-share mo. Uy, grabe.
Ano nga eh, like dati, that was my mindset eh. Like, so, di ba, I studied in Binild, tapos nag-digital tutors ako, yung mga Nomon tutorials. So, akala ko na I knew everything na, quote unquote, everything. Tapos I got to Nomon. Pagdating ko dun, oh my God, I don't know anything. So, tapos pagdating ko sa Pinas, I was thinking, okay, it looks like I know naman everything na pagdating sa 3D. When I started working sa Post Manila, oh my God, I don't know anything pa rin. I learned a lot from Mabini Boys. Shout out talaga sa Mabini Boys. Yun yung crew namin dun sa Post Manila. Love you guys. And yeah. Ayun. So that's when I learned na, you'll always continually learn something.
That is
And
true.
when I got here, when I got in WETA, I started learning a lot of things na naman. Especially here, since I'm exposed to various specialists talaga. Like, I get exposed to modelers, to texturing artists, to concept artists. So I get to converse with them or see yung mga ginagawa nila. So I get to know yung mindset nila. Paano nila ginagawa, yung approach nila. So that's what I'm trying to learn now. Kasi back when I was studying sa Binild, kasi I thought 3D was a very technical. It is a very technical thing naman talaga yung 3D. Kaya 'di ba it's medyo daunting siya pag-aralan. Pero once you get past the technicalities, once you know na yun like how to dynamesh, in Zbrush, how to use the tools, or like in Maya, how to pull vertices here and there. It's all about being creative, ne. So that's the one thing that I kind of regret. Now I didn't learn how to be more of a creative person. But of course, it's never too late to learn. So, ayun. Lately I've been learning. A really great website that I've been learning from is FZD, yung Feng Zhu design.
Oh yeah, sa
They
Singapore
have
siya.
they have so many episodes dun sa YouTube channel na libre about concept art. Starting from basic silhouette to drawing yung mga designs mo to getting references. You can learn so much from the internet nowadays eh.
Oo nga eh.
I'm sure you're well aware of that na yun nga, mas fortunate yung mga baguhan ngayon kasi they have the internet.
Dati, kinukwento ko dati kay James, yung offline kami. Ay, tsaka kay Herbie, dati nga, kaharap lang natin, Maya Help eh. There's no YouTube.
F1.
Tatanungin mo lang yung kaibigan mo or tatawagan mo yung friend mo sa kabilang studio, bro, nakagawa ka na ng water? Or bro, nakagawa ka na ba ng parang gantong sculpt? Ganun
Dati
dati
nga,
YouTube.
I learned yung naalala ko pa yun sa 3ds Max. I learned 3ds Max for a while eh. They were gonna teach you how to model a hammer. Then
Oh.
yun sa F1 key eh. Doon ako natuto. Tama. Pero ako, I guess I was fortunate enough na may kuya rin ako na who was a 3D addict. So, he
Mm.
exposed me to 3D.
Wow.
Kasi
Very
dati
good.
talaga, I couldn't grasp the idea eh. Like, you have a cube, tapos yung cube na yun, naging tao.
Chichisil
Paano
mo.
yun? O
Pupul
parang,
ka ng vertices.
and
Chichisil mo pa.
naging inspiration ko nung time na yun, that's why I got into 3D, was Final Fantasy Spirits Within.
Ay, oh, yeah. That was amazing.
Yeah, the non-Final Fantasy related movie. Pero yun, sobrang na-inspire ako doon. Tapos, I asked yung kuya ko, ano yan? Tapos sinabi niya 3D. Tapos parang, paano yun? Like, seriously, dati, couldn't imagine a cube na nagiging tao. Parang, how? I guess that's what I love kasi minsan may magic dust pa rin sa mata ko even though I've been exposed sa industry for quite a while na na-amaze pa rin ako with how they do things. Like yun nga, when I was watching Sir Herbie's part, it's like, wow. Nakakatawa lang seeing the process of how things are done.
Oh,
And yun nga, you'll from it.
ayan.
Pero, to be honest, like, yung mga, like, yung mga artists natin, I'm pretty sure they can reach wherever they need
Yes,
to. Talaga.
definitely.
Just need to bulk up talaga yung portfolio mo.
Mm.
Ngayon.
Actually, ang experience ko naman, kasi there's this new school I'm teaching to, FEU Alabang. Shout out, guys, sa inyo. Ang nakikita kong kulang naman is teachers na practicing that teaches multimedia rin eh. Kasi kadalasan I see them yung mga teachers ng multimedia, most of them naman are good din, pero most of them wala pang industry experience. So alam mo yung mga simple things na, sir, ba't hindi gumagana to? Ilang beses ka na nag-crash do sa procedure na yon. Ay hindi, ganito gawin mo. Kailangan may sequence yan. Kasi pag hindi mo gawin yan, magka-crash siya. So, kailangan sequence mo ganito. Or certain ways of doing things na mas less, mabigat for the computer, gano'n. So, yeah. So, that's why nag-start din ako na ganito na a little bit of YouTube tutorials habang quarantine. And then I started inviting Sir James, Herbie, Vernon. Sobrang thankful ako sa inyo. And then, yun nga, I'm trying din, maybe not just to the schools I teach, also to the other schools naman dyan who also have multimedia arts na course. I bet meron isa dyan, bro, na super, ano mo yun, ngayon pa lang super galing na halimon. Kumbaga, broily pa lang, ganung bata pa lang, broly na. Hindi pa siya nagsusuper saiyan. So, I hope to, like, I equip them. Kasi I'm sure nung tayo, we were growing up, we only had Maya help. Kayo ba, did you have YouTube na? Wala pa?
Dati ako, nagre-rely lang talaga ako sa UM eh.
Sa UM? Anong sa
I,
UM?
I
Wait,
will not,
wait.
I
Labas
will
na.
not go further.
Ano sa UM? Wait. Tutorials to Tutorials to. And softwares. Alam ko sa second floor yun, diba? Sa likod.
Next topic.
Sige, sige. Maya, by the way, sponsor us. Also, Zbrush. I need to learn. Shout out.
Try nyo.
Also,
The
Maxon.
monthly version.
I'm teaching Maxon and also After Effects. Anyway, bro, I really enjoyed this live stream with you. Sobrang dami naming natutunan sa'yo. Even though we would like to continue pa, 2 hours na, so baka matagal na to i-upload. So, I guess
No.
hanggang dito muna tayo for now. Thank you ulit, bro. Thank you, James, sa mga learnings namin. May gusto kong batiin and anything, magpa-thank you sa mga viewers natin.
Just, I guess, thank you sa mga viewers for taking part of your time to watch this. And I know I've been blabbering a lot, pero I hope may natutunan kayo kahit pa paano. And,
Madaming, bro.
shoutout syempre sa folks ko and to Mabini Boys.
Yes.
Wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys. So, yeah.
Okay, so uh, thank you guys for joining us in this live stream. I hope uh, madami kayo natutunan again. Tune in sa next live stream. So I'm hoping we would have James, co-worker, Ryan Serrano by next week. If not, meron din tayong exciting mga other guests. So tune in lang dito sa Digital Guru Tutorial Facebook page tsaka sa YouTube.
Mhm.
Okay, so ako po si Gerard, ang iyong Digital Guru, and then dito po si James, ang iyong Pinoy mentor. Signing off. Maraming salamat po. Bye
Thank you
guys!
guys.